call the Milton City Council meeting to order Tuesday, April 19th, 2016. It is 7:01 p.m. Can I get a confirmation of appropriate meeting notice?
The meeting was noticed here at City Hall, the Piggly Wiggly, and Dave's Ace Hardware.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We have an agenda. Are there any public comments on any items on the agenda?
No one's registered.
Nobody is registered. All right, so the newly elected officials that are here are going to get sworn in, and Dave will get sworn in by phone.
Shall we go?
Go out in front, yes. Let's make it all ceremonial. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hear this good. Dave, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, can I have you raise your right hand? And then, do you, let's see if I can do this. Do you, Ryan Holbrook, Linda Clark, and Dave Adams, having been elected to the office of Alderperson of the City of Milton, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of your ability, so help you God? Yes, I do.
Nancy, do you want a photo of
Oh, you're behind.
I gotta get a little bit.
Becky, we'll send you these photos, $5 a piece.
Or do you want the toys?
Oh, that's okay.
Budgets are tight.
Open records are All righty then. Welcome, Ryan, and congratulations, and welcome back, Linda and Dave.
Thank you.
Here we go. You have a consent agenda. Is there? Oops. Oh, election of the Common Council President. Yeah, that's why. This is the second time I missed that. Okay, so we're going to elect a council president. Are there any nominees? Is there anybody that wants to nominate anybody?
I nominate Jeremy Sajak.
I can't remember. Do we need seconds or not?
This is always a goofy process. Mark, can you advise?
Okay. Jeremy, do you accept the nomination? Is there any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Maxine. She's been here forever and is threatening to retire, so I would think it an honor for her to have her presidency.
Maxine, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations?
Dave, are you on?
Are you there?
Dave?
He was just there. He just voted.
Hey, Dave. Looks like we lost you.
No, they threw the switch because it went to Delta.
Oh.
Oh. That's that darn ghost again.
Dave, both I and Maxine have been nominated for council president. Do you wish to nominate anybody?
I was going to nominate Maxine also.
Is there any other nominations? Okay, I'm going to close the nominations, and then we do this by secret ballot, and how we will arrange for Dave to vote is that Elena will pick up the phone and he will tell her. And the rest of you will cast a secret ballot, and give it to Elena. It'll actually be Dan from finance.
You want to tell me who you want to vote for now?
And there's a ballot right there.
Put it back on speakerphone.
Okay.
Dave, there's a contested convention.
We'll see who makes the first round of voting.
Just even split.
Probably just nobody would like name Donald.
We're a nonpartisan group now, Dave.
I know.
Okay, so by a vote of 4-2, the new Common Council President is Maxine Striegel.
Congratulations, Maxine. You know I'm out of town a lot and you're in charge, right?
I think I can handle it.
I think you can too.
She has experience.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Item number 7 is a public hearing and discussion and possible action regarding approval of resolution 2016-09, final resolution vacating portion of Greenman Street and amending official city map.
So before we open the public hearing, I'll just give a brief update on this, even though we've kind of already talked about this. This will be about the 4th time. This is a vacation of a portion of Greenman Street between North Janesville and Parkview Drive. This will vacate that portion of Greenman Street that is used at this time to serve, Milton East, PCCU, and what was formerly the police department. Based on the redevelopment plans that have been proposed and approved for Milton East, it will require the vacation of this portion of Greenman Street in order to accommodate those plans. The City Council has, the Plan Commission has already approved that site plan, and the Common Council approved the preliminary resolution to vacate that. But in order to finalize the process, we need to hold a public hearing and then approve the final resolution. Each of you has a map just to kind of show what that portion of Greenman Street is between Parkview Drive and North Janesville Street. But this would be the final part of that process to allow the Milton East parking lot redevelopment to occur. So that's all I have for a presentation, unless there's questions.
I have a question. Are we gonna still be responsible for plowing that?
For plowing the turnaround portion?
Right.
No. We will, we have amended our agreement to plow the portion of the parking lot that currently exists along Parkview and then the new portion of it, but it's really just kind of a continuation of what we're already doing. But as far as the turnaround and the parking lot that is along Janesville Street, the school district would be responsible for that.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of this proposal or against this proposal? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any further comments, questions, council?
I'll make a motion that we approve final resolution 2016-09, vacating the portion of Greenman Street from North Janesville Street to Parkview Drive.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding approval of ordinance 419, an ordinance amending section 50-194 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Milton, regulating use and possession of tobacco products.
I brought this one forward for you to take a look at. We have discovered a hole in our ordinances as electronic smoking devices become more popular. We were running into situations where juveniles were using e-cigarettes, vaping devices, things like that as delivery products for nicotine, and what was, used to be just in tobacco is now in other things. That created a situation where issuing a juvenile a citation under our existing ordinance wasn't exactly applicable, because we were citing them for possession of tobacco. They weren't possessing tobacco, they were possessing or using a nicotine delivery device that wasn't tobacco. Worked with the city attorney to develop some additional language, which you have in front of you, to amend the ordinance to allow us to now enforce those e-cigarettes as well.
And being a juvenile probation officer, I think this is a great idea. Just my 2 cents. Is there any questions or comments, or do you have any questions for the chief?
Do the area departments also have this type of an ordinance?
I'm honestly not sure. I don't know how
City of
popular it is
Janesville
elsewhere.
does, I
I
think.
know Janesville does.
Okay. And we did kind of two in one shot for you on this one, where Judge Keffler has also given her memo with her proposed fine amounts for each of the first, second, and third violation within a year. So that's also included in your packet if we get approval for that as well tonight. That would be great.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 419, waive the second, third, and adoption.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. And that includes the fine schedule or the forfeiture schedule?
Yes.
Is there any further questions, comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? It carries. Item number 9. Discussion and possible action regarding acceptance of a donation from Cornerstone of Hope to install a shed with picnic table, water collection system, and tools at the community garden.
They had contacted the Public Works about 3 weeks ago. They're a group that has a community garden, and what they do with what they grow is they would like to donate that to the food pantry. They were at one time, he told me, associated with Habitat for Humanity, but they would rather do the food part instead of the building part. And so that's kind of the background of their group. They do operate in Fort Atkinson also. They would just like to have a community garden out there and donate that. And they'd also have a shed with tools that anyone that has a garden out there could use. And inside the shed, people that have extra vegetables could leave them at the picnic table or at the bench, and then they'll collect them and take them to the food pantry. But it's a donation of some of the shed portion and and of a water container. So that's why it's at City Council to see if it's all right to accept the donation.
Will you be running water to that shed, or is the water still out in the middle of the cemetery?
It's out in the middle of the cemetery.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's no extra expense for us.
And that's for our local food pantry, or?
Yes, yep.
Well, actually, since our food pantry locally is open one day a week, be generous. Not everything lasts a week.
Yeah, and they're gonna make the arrangements all on their own with the food pantry.
And what day of the week is it
Wednesday.
open?
It's only open on Wednesday afternoon, on Monday nights, the first and third Monday night of the month.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we accept this donation from Cornerstone of Hope to install the shed with a picnic table and a water collection system and tools at the community garden.
There's a motion, a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action to fund the city's portion of the RW management contract for the Milton Fire Commission.
Thank you. This item is on the agenda this evening for the council to approve the expenditure for the RW management contract that was approved by the Fire Commission last week. The way that it is been constructed is that the cost will not exceed $18,000 total, which is the city's portion would be $9,000. So the action tonight would be for the city council to approve an expenditure of not to exceed $9,000 to fund the city's portion of the RW management contract for the Milton Joint Fire Commission.
Where is this coming from, Dan?
As Al pointed out in the memo, right now, there was surplus funds left over in the fire department, so it might not be necessary to amend anything on the city side of things. If as the year ticks on, you know, and there's expenditures in the fire department that would require, or that would necessitate extra funds, then we would bring forth a budget amendment, once it affects the city side of things.
So in short, it may just be absorbed in the current budget process. If for some reason it cannot be absorbed in the current budget amount, we would bring back a budget amendment. But at this point, we're hoping that there is a surplus, and it could just be absorbed through that surplus. But we'll know more as the year goes on.
Any other further questions?
I'll make the motion that we approve the expenditure not to exceed $9,000 to fund the city's portion of the RW management contract for the Milton Joint Fire Department.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding changes to the business travel policy. Do you want to forbid everybody from going to North Carolina too in this? Unless it's necessary.
That's not a part of the draft changes that we have proposed this evening. This is actually a small item, a change to the employee handbook regarding the business travel expense section. The purpose of this change is somewhat twofold. One, first and foremost, to make training more accessible to folks who wish to take advantage of training opportunities, especially those provided by CIVMIC, which are free training opportunities to the city, which is located about 62 miles from Milton. Right now, there is a restriction of 70 miles that makes things a little bit difficult. We haven't necessarily enforced that, but we want to just clean up the language in order to make it reflect what is really happening. But we also want to reflect the changing cost of travel and how that is impacting training, because we have a shared budget, especially on the city hall side. When large portions of the training budget is being eaten up by travel expenses, we want to encourage the training, but not expend the budget in order to pay to get there. So what we have come up with is a bit of a hybrid approach, where if there is a city car available and you choose to take your personal vehicle, you'll be reimbursed at 14 and a half cents per mile. Right now, you would be reimbursed at 56 cents per mile. And that has proven to be a big budget chunk. Oftentimes travel ends up being 3-4 times the amount that the actual training cost. We want to provide the flexibility and allow people to take their own vehicles if they feel more comfortable and safe in that environment. But we also want to recognize the fact that we have limited budgets. So if the city car is available, that's obviously the first preference, and folks can take that, and then there's no issue. But if the city car is available and you choose to take your own vehicle, we'd like to lower that rate down to 14 and a half cents, which is a rate set by the IRS. If the city car is not available and you need to take your own personal vehicle, then you would be reimbursed at that 56 and a half cents per mile. So it's a little bit of a hybrid approach, where we still allow some flexibility, but it won't tap out the training budget in order to allow that flexibility, so.
Can you say roughly how many miles a year the city car gets?
Boy, it's a small amount, 1,000?
I'd say a couple thousand.
Yeah. It's a pretty small
He gets
amount.
I think he gets 2 oil changes a year.
Is it cost efficient to keep a city car?
We have debated that at great length. Every year that the budget comes up, we talk about that. And some people use the car a lot, some people never use the car. I almost never use the car. Yeah, I think it's a matter of personal preference, but I think it's definitely something that we want to look at again, especially with this change coming up in the fall, because I question whether it's worth keeping or not. But I think we need to, once we put this into place, it kind of helps even that out a little bit.
I see it as part of the discussion, and I don't know how to see it.
Well, and part of the question, since we have the vehicle now, is whatever the trade-in that we could get on it is, you know, whether it's $5,000 or $6,000, if we'd even be able to get that.
Oh, yeah. I'd be surprised.
What would you choose to do with those funds, since it's not a question of should we?
could spend them.
And then it's just weighing the pros and cons to that. Because we aren't in a situation where the vehicle is falling apart. Or we're not in a situation where we're looking to replace the vehicle at this point in time. That might be a different conversation 2 or 3 years from now.
Right. Yeah, at the time that it comes to actually replace it, it does change the conversation. This policy will live beyond the look Ford Focus that lives out there, or that sits out there right now, but it's something that we need to look at again. I mean, right now, it doesn't cost us a whole lot to keep the vehicle. 2 oil changes a year, and, you know, some minor maintenance on it. I will say, if we do get rid of the vehicle, then we would have to reimburse everybody at 56 cents a mile, which would then go back to the problem that we currently have, where travel expenses are huge. At least the vehicle provides us an opportunity to, provides an option, a low-cost option.
Okay, it's an option but not a mandate, so I'm still confused.
Nope, it's not a mandate. Yes, it's not a mandate now. This provides us that flexibility to say, hey, if you don't take that car, you know, you're not gonna get rich off of not taking the car. It evens it out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a financial incentive probably to take the car now.
To a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It costs
it's
us
a weighted
about,
yeah,
percentage.
what we figured is about between 9 and 10 cents a mile to take that car anyways. This costs the city about 9 to 10 cents a mile in gas, and that's just based on what gas prices are today. That could change greatly. So it's pretty even the way this policy is written. It's not going to cost the city any more or any less. But if we were to get rid of the car, it would ultimately likely cost the city more.
Percentage basis, okay. But you are recommending the changes to make it optional? Or, you know, changes to your travel policy?
Yeah, it already is optional. What this change is to say, okay, if you choose to exercise that option,
Okay.
it's only going to be at 14 cents a mile as opposed to 50 cents.
It's a different reimbursement rate.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the handbook changes for business travel in 2016.
I'll second that.
Go right ahead.
Is for second.
Hey, it's in the meeting minutes.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. General items. Dave.
None.
Jeremy. Maxine. Ryan.
Nope.
I do have a general item. I have a request, an agenda item request from one of our citizens, and that is for us to look once again at chickens.
Oh, so you want us to bring back the original ordinance that we have an ordinance written up that never passed. Would you like to review that?
Yes.
We can hear that all the way up here.
I heard nothing because I was talking. So is that what you're talking about? Yes. Okay, we'll do that.
Do you want me to give a report now too?
So, just so I'm clear on that, you want us to resurrect the ordinance that came before the council in 2014 or 13? Is that,
Yes.
okay. Any changes to it, or just bring it back as is?
I think bring it back as is so we can review it, and
Okay.
then if they want to make changes, and then we could vote on it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
And then I just also wanted to let everybody know, at the last council meeting, I had asked about our tree ordinance, and Parks and Recreation did talk about that at our meeting last night. And we're going to put some information out for the public so that there's better understanding on what our tree policies are in the May water bill. That's the plan.
Yes, we are. FYI, city staff. We forgot to tell you that.
I heard about it.
Anything else? Okay, we'll go back this way. Let's do, anybody else have anything? Okay, we'll do our next meeting, May 3rd, 2016, 7 p.m.
Oh, Anissa, is anybody gonna give us an update on the rail situation?
Well, we have other reports coming, so I'm just going by the numbers, how it's listed on the agenda.
I can do that.
And our very favorite item, team building. And we get to do this on behalf of Ryan tonight, because Ryan is new. We're going to share a little bit of information about ourselves that Ryan might not know. And Howie is going to go first.
That's off real. He probably doesn't know your middle name, Holly. I don't.
Appropriate or inappropriate?
It's videotaped, so
Okay.
it'll be YouTubed, whatever you want.
I know, we're on film. Let's see. Let's see. Cubs fan, Packer fan. Still like to run races sometimes. Let's see. Umpire. Let's see, what else? That's a few, sometimes accused of being a tree hugger, so so I guess that's some.
Good job, Howie. Way to lead the way. Attorney Schrader.
This should be easy because I'm sure you know absolutely nothing about me.
Right.
That's your imagination.
Yeah, my name is Mark Schrader, and I'm an attorney, and we have an office. Our firm is the Casino Office. We have an office in the city of Janesville, across from the courthouse. So anytime you need a call, go right ahead. And they have my number.
On speed dial.
His keys are worn out on my phone.
I'm Dan Nelson, the numbers guy for the city. Also a Cubs fan, Packer fan, Badger fan, and I like to ride my bike.
Dave?
I am a motorsports nut and proud to be a lifelong Bears fan.
Oh, what? Oh, this is shocking.
I can't believe you said proud.
I mean, we got the Cubs and the Bears.
I don't want to leave Dave by himself there, so I'll announce that I'm a Bear fan as well, Cub fan. I'm a coach, football coach, baseball coach, basketball coach, and I don't have any free time.
Okay, I'm Maxine Striegel, and I'm the old gal of the place. And I'm here to keep Al and Vanessa on
On a
task.
short leash.
To varying degrees of success. Well, Ryan and I had an opportunity to chat for about an hour before the meeting tonight, so that was very nice. We got to to know each other a little bit, so I'm at an unfair advantage. I actually got to tell them a little bit about myself. So now I actually kind of have to kind of go off script, I guess. I will say I am a Star Trek fan. Quite a big one. Quite a big one.
Was that a Star Trek fan?
Trek. I was trying to decide if I want to say that I'm a Trekkie, because I'm not a Trekkie, I'm more a Trekker, but you know. Now that's on YouTube.
Okay, let's see. Well, there's a family farm up in Juneau County, and the bison are running wild now up there. There was 2 going down Main Street today in Linden Station, probably the last 2 of the herd. Let's see, I'm gonna sell my house this summer if you're in the market. You probably know I got 3 kids, and what else? I like to fish. I like to hunt. And I'm a master gardener.
I'm Alana Hilby, the city clerk, and I hate sports, so there's that. And I'm from Sun Prairie. I live in Sun Prairie.
What don't you know about yourself?
Well, first of all, you probably all know that I do civil war reenacting, but I'll throw that out there anyways. So that's been a hobby for 15 years now of my life. So actually, half my life. It's been dedicated to that. I'm actually originally from Alabama, so Huntsville, Alabama, and moved to Stoughton in 7th grade and been in Wisconsin ever since. So, graduated college with a really long major name, which basically is the hands-on side of engineering. So.
You live in the city of Milton now, though, right?
Yes. Actually, I live really far away. I can actually probably throw a rock and hit here from my house. I live a block from here. So. Yeah, I can walk here.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, if we're all admitting, yes, I was born and raised in Boston and farmed on my way to Wisconsin. And one of the things that I found was controversial is that I own stock in United Ethanol. But yes, Milton is a wonderful place. I've been here for 30, 40 years now. It's I have 3 kids. One is deceased, and one is in Northern California, and one's in Southern California. A lot of help that is.
Well, my name's Linda Clark, and I guess I am going to just have to say that I am a tree hugger, and I love my gardens and my 3 cats. No sports.
No sports, yes. I'm sorry, you're down at no sports end.
Where's the engineering degree from?
Laughing.
Nice.
Oh, that was a plant, you
See?
What a politician.
Well, it's good that you didn't recognize them right away.
That's true. We never had any contact that I'm aware of in my all my years.
Before he grew a beard, it's okay.
Is that what?
Actually, yes, that's true too.
So I came from Platteville when I arrived here about 9 months ago. So I'm the new guy in the room, I think. Having gotten here back in July, so 23-year career working in law enforcement in Platteville between the city for 17 years and then the university after that before coming here. Wife and 2 little ones, and I think that's enough for now.
The other chief.
Huge supporter of AFS, the Foreign Exchange Program. They had 6 students that have lived with us over a 10-year period, and live long and prosper.
I think we should not let
Inga off the Inga.
All right.
You can
What'd she say?
You can come out to the microphone.
or submit your response in writing to the courier.
She's the all-powerful Oz behind the magic curtain back there.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Staff reports. Let's go with city administrator.
Sure, I can give an update on the Great Lakes Basin Rail Line, or whatever their acronym is. Yesterday morning at about 9 o'clock, I was part of a local governmental officials meeting with the Surface Transportation Board. Anissa joined us as well. The Surface Transportation Board is a federal entity that is tasked with reviewing any expansions to railroads within the United States. So they are here now at this time doing their public input process. This was a nice opportunity, I would say, for me to get to know more information about the project through an unfiltered source. They're the federal agency that is simply reviewing the project. They weren't there to provide any kind of justification or sales pitch. So with that being said, there wasn't a whole lot of information to share. They have a proposed route that if folks have not seen it yet, it is available on the website, which is Great Lakes Basin Rail EIS. Is that? INC? I'll send it to you.
Oh.
It's,
yes, for the economic impact statement, right.
So there is a proposed path that last night at the meeting that they had, the public meeting that they had at Craig High School in Janesville, we were able to see up close. Chief Lippincott was there as well, and we were able to kind of see where that path is. The path that is proposed at this time does not enter the city of Milton, but is about half mile outside of the city of Milton to the east, in between, right around between Vickerman and KK in that area. It will hook up to the existing Wisconsin and Southern line that does bisect the city on the east-west route. But all of that is still very early on in the process. As the Surface Transportation Board explained to us, they're in basically the very, very early step of the process, and the process probably goes from here to the wall. And they expect this process to take about 2 to 3 years. And they are simply there to judge the project not on its financial or economic viability, but on its ability to be accomplished through any kind of environmental impacts or any issues that may occur at the local level. So they're really reviewing it from a very objective standpoint. But again, that process may take 2 to 3 years before that comes. Once that process is completed, they'll render an opinion, which then is either approved or denied at the actual board level, the Surface Transportation Board, which is a 3-person board that's established, that is a partisan, it's a nonpartisan board, but they're appointed by the president. So right now there's two Democrats and 1 Republican on the board, and that could change with the election. So once that process happens, the board could then approve or deny this license that they would receive, and if they approve the license, that allows them to then go ahead with the project. And what that means is then they would start kind of the engineering aspects of it, and from their perspective, the fundraising portion of it. And it also does provide them eminent domain powers. It's a long ways off. I don't know what the likelihood of success of this project is, but to put it in context, when we talked to the Surface Transportation Board yesterday, this would be the largest privately funded public transportation project since the Continental Railroad. It's been 150 years since a project of this scope came to the United States. So it would be a very large and auspicious project. So I don't know if that means that it has a great deal of success, or likelihood for success, or likelihood for failure. Not really sure. And we likely won't know for several years. But that is the process that it's currently underway. The Surface Transportation Board is accepting public comments until June 15th. You can go to their website and provide those if you weren't able to attend the meeting last night. Many local municipalities along the line, and I'm not recommending this or encouraging it, just saying it, many local municipalities along the line are talking about putting together resolutions either for or against the project. We had a conversation today at our MPO meeting about whether there's going to be a resolution provided by the Metropolitan Planning Organization, at least to talk about their concerns with the project. It sounds like the county board may take some action on it as well. But it is a large, large project that terminates in Milton and goes, well, or you can say starts in Milton and goes all the way to LaPorte, Indiana. So 278 miles in distance. It's a large project, $8 billion just in land acquisition alone. So that is the information that I know, and that is considerably more information than I knew yesterday before going to those meetings. So it was very helpful to attend those. But that's what I know.
Does the rail out here have to, that's a class 1, correct?
No,
It's not a
Wisconsin
class-
and Southern is a class 2 railroad.
So they don't have a choice but to hook up? Because it sounded like class 1s had to agree, but do class 2s not have to agree?
Well, Wisconsin and Southern is a class 2 railroad, but they run on class 1 lines. This line that actually runs through Milton is a UP line, so it's owned by UP, but Wisconsin and Southern runs on it. It becomes, it's a complex process. So their hope is that the class 1 users that touch this project from Milton to LaPorte, Indiana, will support this project and pay for it. Think of it as like a toll road. So that's their hope. But what we don't know, we don't know what type of class 1 user is even interested in this. If they're interested in it, if they see it as competition, if they see it as relief, if they see it as a way to expand their territory, or do they feel it constricts their territory? And my guess is, as you go along the line for all 278 miles, each one probably feels different about it. So that is the part that is hard to wrap your arms around. The other part that's hard to wrap your arms around is that railroads only do 5-year projections as it is. And if you're talking about a 10 to 15 year construction on this, it's hard to know what those projections are going to be 10 to 15 years from now, or what the face of rail is even going to be. It was only 5 years ago Wisconsin Southern stood alone, and since then they've been purchased by Watco, so even their business plan has changed in the last 5 years. So they talk about up to 100 trains a day. Well, my question is that on the entire line, or is that just through Chicago, or would we expect 100 trains a day in Milton? And those questions are still very much unknown. So.
Well, Milton is hardly a railroad hub.
It is for Wisconsin and Southern. It is one of their main hubs.
And
yes.
it's a freight oriented, and this would strictly be freight oriented in their plans?
They never talked about any kind of passenger that I heard. I never heard that in any of their conversations. Yeah. But
I was just, wanting to hear
yeah.
whether it was
what
more.
what has been, I think, also difficult and frustrating for a lot of people is, the folks that were there yesterday, they're not there representing Great Lakes Basin Rail. They're the federal overseers. So getting to hear actually from Great Lakes has proven to be a little difficult. I heard from one individual last night that if you go onto the LaPorte, Indiana's webpage, you can see a video where the individual who's spearheading this project by the name of Frank Patton, gives a speech, and for some people that's the only time they've actually ever seen or heard from him directly. So LaPorte, Indiana's webpage apparently has this video out there. So
It does, I went and looked at it.
Did you? Okay.
And I'm not sure why that's the hub either, because that's a city of 22,000 people.
Yeah.
And basically, there's access to the highway there, and that's all there is. There's no great train hub or anything else.
Yeah, and the question came up yesterday is, well, is there some future plans to develop a large-scale intermodal facility in or around Milton? And the answer from the federal folks was, it's not a part of this plan. But
It's odd. It feels like a hanging participle or something.
Well, and part of it is they actually haven't even filed an application.
Right.
So all the much needed information would be in an application that they haven't even filed yet.
Correct.
And
That's correct.
it sounds like the federal government is having difficulty getting information from them. So I guess it remains to be seen if they even follow through with an application. If They haven't. I mean, I'm not saying that they will or they won't, but they haven't even filed one yet. But the fact that the federal government is spending a ton of money in an environmental impact study would indicate that they probably believe they're going to file an application.
So are we, do they realize that we have the Milton House that close to that particular location and the structural issues that we already have with that national landmark? And
Again, if I can just, this is for informational purposes, and so I just would advise not to cross the line into debate and discussion of the topic as in terms of just sharing information.
Input can be provided to the Great Lakes Basin on Great Lakes Basin Rail EIS.com up until June 15th.
Can you just keep us updated periodically at our council meetings?
Right, and you can also file legal briefs on the merit of the project too, which you probably have to have an attorney do that. We haven't asked ours to do that. Okay. We'll go right to the fire department.
Well, the first thing is the study priority committee met at 5 tonight and finalized our list of priorities, and we'll be giving that to the commission tomorrow night. That's probably the biggest news, and I was going to talk about the rail line, but I don't need to now. So, been a lot of calls to the fire department about that issue, though. So there's a great deal of concern that's been rising from it.
Chief of Police.
As of about 10 days ago, our body cameras are deployed. We have officers in the field wearing them right now. The program seems to be going smoothly. We've had some software hiccups and things, but that's to be expected anytime you do a new piece of electronics like we have. Things seem to be going well with it, and hopefully it's going to be a good program for us.
City Clerk, Deputy Treasurer. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Howie, Public Works.
Let's see, dog park cleanup is this Saturday, is it 10:30? 10:30. If anyone wants to volunteer and go out and help with that.
What does it, maybe people think cleanup means something that it doesn't mean.
It's just walking around the trail, picking up any loose paper and stuff. You don't have to pick up dog materials, so it's just, they're gonna clean up some brush and just, just with the wood chips and things. It's more of a fun cleanup to go out there, so. And the library pre-construction meeting was this week, and they have started work up there. The plumbers are working up there already. Let's see, and the park bathrooms should be open by this weekend.
Howie, I got a call asking if you were still picking up leaves.
Oh, yeah, until, that goes till May 2nd. Yeah, and so we're probably gonna try and get quite a few of them done this week, and then we'll go out next week again and probably do 2 more times around town, so.
And bulky trash pickup is tomorrow. It's one of my
Yes, it
is.
is.
Days.
Yeah.
A lot of my stuff is gone already.
I saw that too.
Okay, Director of the Library is not here. Dan.
I got nothing.
We got nothing.
There's money. I
There's
just don't
money.
have.
Okay,
I
that's
just don't have
all.
anything exciting to share.
Okay, I think the meeting that I went to with Al was very interesting, and we'll try to keep you guys updated. What else we got coming up? Linda, anything we can think of? Civil War Days is May
19th, 20th, 21st.
And when is our Earth Day cleanup day?
That's
Friday.
this, yeah, this
Friday,
weekend.
April 22nd is our Make a Difference Day?
Oh, what, I gave you the wrong date.
Okay.
It's 20, 21, and 22.
20, 21, and 22 is Civil War Days.
Make a Difference Milton is this weekend.
Is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Mother's Day is in May. Let's not forget.
Yes.
All right, anybody,
And-
anything else?
Can I just make an addition for the library? We received another $20,000 donation to the library this last week from
Awesome.
the owners of the Milton Assisted Living. Thank you to them.
All right, motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor? All those opposed? We're adjourned. We'll see you all in May.